Hey, this is Josie Ong with Affirmation Pod, your home for personal development. And I hope this episode finds you well, finds you being real and authentic and loving and kind. Thank you for celebrating the 6-month anniversary of Affirmation Pod with me with the last episode, which was a bonus episode. And one thing I didn't mention there that I wanted to put here is if you have any questions for me about things I shared or about me or about the podcast, feel free to just email me, josie@affirmationpod.com. Let's go to today's topic. It's an actionable tip. And you probably noticed in the title, I put dance. So what does this mean? Well, personal development requires different things like discipline, reflection, going to places that are uncomfortable and painful. But I believe personal development also needs to include fun, F-U-N, fun. And there's 2 really cool places I've seen this done in my prior work before I became a stay-at-home mom, podcaster, and entrepreneur. And again, if you don't know, I used to work as a clinical counselor and health educator in my community in British Columbia, Canada. And one of the places I used to present regularly was prison, jail. And youth jail was always an interesting time because every time I went in was a different experience. Every time I went in, I just didn't know what to expect and where the mindset and the energy of the kids would be. It could have been there was a lockdown right before I got there because there was an incident, or they could all be just really jiving and grooving and really getting along well. So in this youth custody facility that I would go to, they had a number of programs, including an addiction program where, as you can imagine, they'd go through a number of things about like what certain drugs would do to your body and the impact and all of that. But what I love is that they had a session dedicated that was called fun in recovery. And recovery is a common term for when somebody has been addicted to something and then they've stopped or they're trying to keep away from it. So they called one particular session fun in recovery. And sometimes the counselors there led that time, and sometimes they'd guest speakers come in, and I was on the rotation to come in to speak in the fun and recovery program. And we did have fun. It was pretty cool. And what really stood out to me is that program wanted to instill in the youth that recovery is a serious process, of course. This program made sure they emphasized that fun is a part of recovery. And I'm here to say to you today, fun is a part of personal development. Now, this episode's coming out at the end of March 2016, which means Q1 is done. And so flashback 3 months ago, did you make some resolutions? Did you not? Did you have any personal goals that you wanted to complete? This is your little check-in. This is your mirror and reminder. How are you doing with that? How's it going? How's your progress? And for any of you who wanted to have fitness and exercise on that list of goals for 2016, you're going to get double benefit from this episode because my actionable tip today is going to tie into that. Something I've done in the past, but I recognize that I've been doing this more in the last 3 months, in Q1 of 2016, is throw on YouTube and dance. It does serve double duty for me because I count it as exercise for me. And one thing I love about this is because I'm pregnant, and my energy is good, but I'm generally more tired than I am when I'm not pregnant. So for me, listening to music and dancing and just moving around, and you know the phrase, right? Dance like nobody's watching. That's been really great for me because it keeps me interested. It keeps me moving and active without pushing myself too hard. And I wanted to create this episode just to encourage you. There are times and seasons we could be busy, we could be struggling, we could be feeling stuck, we could be feeling tension. You've got access to this podcast. So I'm assuming you've got access to iTunes or some music. Why not? Give yourself some time to just dance. Dance, dance, and dance. I have one more story of a place I went to present. This was a one time. I wasn't on a rotation like at the youth custody. It was with a seniors center And they were so sweet. They invited me in for an hour and a half. I only needed to speak for 45 minutes. The last half hour, they wanted me to join them for lunch. And the first 15 minutes, they wanted me to join them for the exercise time that they would always have before their guest speakers would come in. And it was super cool to watch this 86-year-old woman led the exercises. I talked to her afterwards. She had taught aerobics when she was younger. She walked in with a cane and she had to lead the exercises from a chair. So she sat in a chair the whole time. But oh my people, for those 15 minutes, it was just fun. It was exercise, but it was fun. And I don't know what the music was. I can't remember what the music was, but she had her arms up over her head and shaking. And then they were at her shoulders, shaking. And then she was like, move your shoulders, shaking. And, the smile on the faces of all these seniors or older adults, whatever the term is I'm supposed to use for them, it reminded me that at any age, you can have fun and you can dance and you can move. And it really encouraged me because I was like, you know what? When I'm in my 80s, I want to be moving just like these men and women are moving and grooving and having fun. So I know you know this already, but movement and dance, it's great for the brain. It's great for the body. It's great for the spirit. One caveat, of course, exercise and dance can be triggering for some people in some situations, and that's not to shame you and that's not to put you down in any way. It's just a reminder, if dance and exercise is something that triggers you in any way to something that has negative consequences for you in your life, I encourage you to brainstorm and come up with what is fun for you. Fun, where you can say, here's what I'm doing for fun in my personal development. And I've included a few YouTube videos in the show notes for this episode, which you can find at affirmationpod.com/dance. Because there have been days when I've been like, oh, I don't even know if I have the motivation to get through a full song. And so what I did was I just searched for countdowns of songs because they just play a little bit of the song and then they go to the next song and then they go to the next song. It's like, it keeps me really engaged and interested. And before long, I'm like, oh, okay, that's already been 10 minutes, 15 minutes of exercise, of dance. I can keep going from here. And I'm not really a person who keeps up with like the latest music. So this was nice for me to kind of see and hear clips from different chart-topping artists in today's world. And I included one of those wedding video dances that I really enjoy watching. Every time I see it, it's cool to dance to it and to watch it. So that is it for me today. This is Josie Ong with Affirmation Pod, your home for personal development. Thank you so much for clicking play and connecting in today. Bye for now.